Well, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, AK, again, finally coming back with another review video. And this time we're going to be reviewing the PNSO Wilson the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, let's start right away and get into this. I will try my best to stay unbiased and objective as I can. But, of course, certain things will be inevitable in some ways, so I just want to give that disclaimer that this is simply my opinion, which it will be based on the 6 main attributes, and in turn, it will just help you decide whether Wilson the Tyrannosaurus by PNSO is the right figurine for you. So, let's go. Now, the overall score I gave it is, well, good news is it's still in the gold range, so the bad news is that it's just not as high of a gold as maybe some people might have expected. So it's 4.4 out of 5. A solid 4.4. And as I said before, it's going to come down to 6 main points that we are going to examine. So the first one is awesomeness, because it looks awesome. It's got this really cool thing with the base as well, which helps it stand, which is very good. Base comes detached, by the way, so that's quite convenient. And of course, the boxing and the packaging of the product itself, the presentation is just absolutely magnificent. I mean, they've got a booklet that demonstrates and documents how they have done their research on this. So it's clear that they were doing quite well in this, in a sense that they were really trying, and they really showed that the interest, the interest is definitely there. And I like it when people who are giving you a product are genuinely interested in the product, because, as we have seen many times in certain areas of business, especially in video game and entertainment businesses, like we've already seen in some franchises, that unless you're genuinely interested in a subject, chances are you're not gonna do as well as those who are interested in it. For example, as I said before, Star Wars, yeah. Not gonna say anymore, but yes, you need somebody who genuinely loves this franchise and this intellectual property to be able to bring you a good Star Wars film, not somebody who just wants to use it as a cash cow. And PNSO here, at least, they show the interest, they show the intent. That is important, and I think this sets up premises that whatever things they will be getting wrong, and they have gotten certain things wrong here, mind you, is going to greatly contribute to their future improvement, because that shows the sign that people might be open-minded and will be willing to eventually course correct where it's appropriate, of course. Because we all know nothing's perfect, so we expect that we are always going to be in a constant, work in progress on getting this. But it's absolutely awesome. It gets a 5 out of 5 platinum score for awesomeness for me, so thanks PNSO for this one. And apologies for the background noise, because there's builders work going on and there's no way I can do anything about it. So if you're picking it up, that's what it is, and no, there is no craziness going on in that sort of sense. Nobody is running away from tanks or anything like that. There is no war. It's just builders being builders. No matter where you go, the builders with a drill will always find a way to find you. Now, let's move on to the next point. The next point that I have used is paint job quality. So I gave it 5 out of 5 as well. So it's a solid platinum, very good quality of paint job. So you will see now the video rolling, that I've just decided to play here, just to show you what it looks like in real life, so that you understand. And this actually matches up closely to the photograph, archives that you see online for this model, which has usually been quite a letdown for many other pieces I've noticed. For example, I've seen their Stegosaurus pictures and Ankylosaurus pictures, and they don't really match up with their real-life counterparts at all. And the same as unfortunately can be said with their Triceratops, the old version, which I will be reviewing on this channel soon as well. So, but this Tyrannosaurus in particular has lived up in that sense, and the Paintjob gets a solid 5 out of 5. I like the choice generally, not my personal #1 choice for a Tyrannosaurus color scheme, because, you know, I'm a more green kind of color guy. I like my dinosaurs green a lot, although with few exceptions, but generally I like them green or black or something mix of that with a little bit of brown and beige. That's my #1 choice for almost every dinosaur. But, of course, everything is different, and that's also fine. It fits, it works. So, I'm happy with that. I hope you're happy with that as well. At which point, we'll move on. Now, the next point is the sculpture quality itself, the sculpt quality. Once again, very good quality, very detailed. It's oh, by the way, sorry guys, just wanted to say another thing on a Paintjob before I get to the sculpt quality as well, that it's actually done better than the one on Ankylosaurus, as a contrast, because it actually has a lot more depth to it. So the actual colors and highlights and all of that, it's done a lot better in that sense. So it's got more depth to it than their Ankylosaurus does. Just thought I'd point that out as well. Now, the sculpt quality, as I said, is absolutely great. It's got all these details in there, which is brilliant. The base is very nice too, considering that they're not using any substitute, you know, material to represent any kind of moss or vegetation. They're just using a solid piece of material to make it a solid chunk. That's absolutely amazing. I think that's really good. So, can it be done better? Maybe, but again, how would I have done it? Probably would have been very much the same, to be honest with you guys. I don't see a lot of ways to do it without, you know, the involvement of any extra material or gluing and doing all that stuff. So, bearing that in mind, that this is not a model kit level kind of piece, I would say sculpt quality can be given a solid platinum 5 out of 5. Now let's go into the next point, which is accuracy. And that's where things got a little bit out the window, but not quite out the window. Not quite there, no. It's a solid silver 3.5 out of 5, so it's not really out the window, but it's kind of got a lot of things there that are missing. So as you can see, I've not taken off 2 points, I've taken off only 1.5 points. And the reason being is, obviously, the tail and the way it's sculpted is very flat. I don't understand why they did that. I don't think that Tyrannosaurus tail would be that flat. Like, sure, it may not be a perfect all-round circle, there would be some kind of shape to the cross-section in certain areas of it, but not that flat, you know, it's just not how I think it is. Besides, their tail just, it wouldn't be like this varanid lizard kind of tail, which is flat and it's very floppy. It's theropod tails are more, they're definitely stiffer than that, you know, as far as I am aware of. That's based on what I know, mind you. This is why I say that you have to pay attention, and I've seen some of you correct me on Ankylosaurus tail as well, which I've missed completely in my last video when I was doing that review, which, you know what I mean, these things, sometimes I miss them too, you know what I'm saying? So, if you know something about that, please let me know. But as far as I'm aware of, theropod tails are supposed to be a little bit stiff, so therefore they would not be that kind of flat lizard-like tails. They would just be theropod tails, because theropods are dinosaurs, they're not lizards. But you know what I'm saying? There is something there. But my main problem is not really that. My main problem is that the whole thing overall looks quite shrink-wrapped, unfortunately. It's really looking like it's a starving animal. Also, the bottom bits of the underbelly and the pelvic area, really skinny, really kind of tight. I don't understand why they decided to go with this. This is just really one of those things that I don't think I'll ever really be able to understand why people do that. I've seen this quite a lot, actually. And personally, I do not approve of that sort of approach. Now, the other thing about accuracy as well is the skull. The nostrils are facing sideways and they should be facing more forwards. That's one of the other things that I have noticed. And also the visible finesse trays as well. an overall kind of shrink-wrapped sort of thing, which I kind of felt like it was off. The teeth are too uniform, they don't represent the dentition, where you would have some teeth that are longer and they're kind of staggering in between, you know, where you have the longer teeth, then you have shorter teeth, or longer, shorter, etc. So they didn't represent that part very well, in my opinion. But what they did do well is they made it scaly. They've given it no extra oral tissue in forms of these lips, because this is just completely dumb and pointless, and this is a topic for another time. Of course, we've covered it many times on this channel, but it's just ridiculous how many people still pushing for these silly trends without really looking at what, you know, without approaching this topic scientifically as it should be. But as I said, this is not the point of this video. The point of this video is to give you an understanding of whether or not this figure is for you or not. So we will talk about these other things that I mentioned in another video sometime soon, I can promise you that. Now, we're gonna move on to the next point, while the house next door to mine is getting actively demolished as I look out the window during this recording. So once again, if you hear things on the background, this is likely why that is. So yeah, in any case, my goodness, where was I? Oh yes, we were at availability. Availability is 5 out of 5. It's still available widely. You can find in multiple places. There's quite a number of places where you can find this figure, so definitely a solid platinum for that. You won't have any problems. So I'm not gonna get into too much detail here. You can find them on places like Everything Dinosaur, on eBay, on many other stores, maybe on Amazon as well, and other stores whichever are relevant to your respective country of residence. So there should be no problem as far as I'm concerned. Now the next point and the final point is the cost, and that's unfortunately another letdown, which is a silver still, but borderline very lowest point of silver, which is 3 out of 5, because I find this, at least at the time when I purchased it, before I found a cheaper price on Everything Dinosaur. So I purchased this before that came around. But generally, even on Everything Dinosaur, it's still quite an expensive piece. It's kind of approaching around 50 pounds, and I would personally say a solid 35 or 40 pounds would be more realistic to me personally. I don't know what's been involved in this production and distribution, etc., what sort of things, so maybe there are some charges on top that stores have to take into account so they don't lose any money and make this feasible product for them to sell and stock. But as a consumer, I would say, again, it depends, of course, what I'm after, because, you know, naturally you want something that looks awesome, but at the same time, if you are me, then you would be looking at something that can represent the animal itself. And since I already said that accuracy, I gave it quite a lower score significantly. It doesn't really represent the animal in its entirety as far as I'm concerned. So that is why I think the cost also is not really worth it, and because it's a 1:35 scale size as well, for a figurine. It's not a model kit, so it's a figurine. So for a model kit, this would be a very good and cheap price, I would say, even as far as that goes. But for a figurine, I think it's a little bit pricey, personally. But that's my opinion. So there we go, and that's what constitutes the total score of a gold 4.4 out of 5 for Wilson the Tyrannosaurus Rex by PNSO. So I hope you found this review helpful, and feel free, of course, to give me some more comments and feedback here on the channel. Also, make sure you check out my Discord server. We can discuss more things. You can request more content there. The threads are all sorted out, so please make sure you make full use of that if you have Discord. If you do not have it, please make sure you get it, because it's very convenient for us to stay in touch and be able to decide on what sort of content to make, and just discuss and share ideas with each other, and just generally make this family grow larger than ever. Now, if you are new to the channel, then make sure you hit the like and subscribe, and of course try to share and spread the word as much as you possibly can, because YouTube algorithm is just doing something stupid with promoting only corporations. They are, biased against independent creators these days, which obviously, go figure why. Not gonna get into the politics of this, because as I said, I stay away from politics on this channel, but this is how it is, and the only way to help is to obviously spread the word and make sure we accelerate our ascend to this 1,000 subscribers to unlock new features and take off the ground for good. But as far as I'm concerned, we're gaining very well, but we can do better, guys, okay? We can always do better. Thank you very much for watching. Your boy Rex, out. Take care now.